My only drug is Krispy Kreme glazed donuts.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
That's right, my friends. You have tuned into the place for the best in recovery talk and positive music, the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, with co-host and special guest this week. We're going to be talking about all natural supplements, the truth about CBD.
Just don't drink. Walk if you're ready. This is the place. This is the place where I wear no mask. I am who I am, not part of the past. Get a little taste of saving grace. Hook up to the human race. Come on in. This is the place.
Well, welcome aboard, everyone. Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Dave Fleming is in the house. Hey, Dave.
What's up, Monty?
Anthony is here.
That'd be me.
And Denver.
Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy, guys. How y'all doing?
Glorious morning.
Fantabulous.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Okay. I got some mic problems going on. There we go. There we go. All righty. So today on the show, there are all natural supplements that offer therapeutic help with things like alcoholism and addiction, depression and anxiety, and even insomnia. And we're going to be talking about the truth about CBD and a remarkable father and son team that has come together. They're both members of the recovery community. And this is a product. We're going to be talking about not only their experience, strength, and hope, what it was like, what happened, what it's like today in their lives, in their recovery, but also about this product that they've developed as people in recovery for people in recovery. Now, this can be a controversial issue. It has been for some time, and we're going to hopefully clear the air about a couple of things. But before we do that, of course, we like to have some fun, always, don't we? Uh-oh.
And now, it's time for the Monty'man's weekly wine. Because he always has something to whine about.
That's right.
Stop crying.
Okay. All righty. When you think of a chili dog, what do you think of? A hot dog with chili on it, right?
Right. Dog outside in the snow.
No.
That's punny right there.
All right. So, yeah, very good. All right. So you think of a hot dog, right, that is smothered in chili.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, smothered.
We would hope.
We would hope. When you think of a chili burger, what do you think of?
A burger covered in chili.
A burger covered in chili, right?
Open-faced chili burger.
Open-faced chili burger. Wouldn't you all agree with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go.
I'm a little hesitant there.
Well, not at Buffalo Wild Wings. No. The chili burger, it says, so my mouth is watering for a chili burger. I don't usually like chili, but when I get, when you get that urge, right, it's like, okay, I've got to have this. So here's this wonderful chili burger with all sorts of different kinds of chilies on top of the chili on the chili burger and everything, right? And I order this thing, and it comes to me. There's no chili on this. It's a burger with chili
hot
peppers,
Yeah.
chopped up chili peppers on the burger. There's no chili. I'm like, are you serious? So I asked the lady, so where's the chili? She goes, well, there's no chili. It's chili peppers. But that's not what your menu says. Your menu says chili burger. Am I out of line here?
Is there like small print at the bottom?
No.
Did it have a picture?
False advertising?
No, it did not have a picture.
See, there's a problem.
There's
Yep. Got to have an unrealistic looking picture.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the other one. Whatever happened to crullers? You know what crullers are? Or the donut that they're kind of wavy. They look like a pinwheel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
They're airy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to them.
Well, that's probably why I like lots of frosting on mine. So
Well,
lots of chili on mine.
Well, over here at Cork's Donuts, which by the way
Oh, yeah.
advertises themselves as a donut shop, but after 9 o'clock they have no donuts, but they still have the open sign up, which
Yeah.
makes no sense to me. Oh, can I have a cruller? We don't make those
Do they rent that out for parking? Because I see cars there everywhere.
all the time.
But I don't.
I don't know. So do you have a maple bar? No, we have no donuts.
Uh,
Do you have a glazed donut? Cake
Yeah,
donut?
it's
no
a-
donuts.
It's a front, back in the day, we used to have a tanning salon.
Yeah.
There's no one in here tanning.
yeah.
Yeah, but you are a donut shop. It reminds me of the Monty Python sketch, The Cheese Shop. Do you have any cheese at all? Nope, we're completely wasting your time. So did you hear this story about the guy that got busted for a donut? All right, you got to hear this. Let me set this up for you. All right, so this guy, this gentleman, and this comes out of Orlando, Florida. Not surprised, right? And so this gentleman, he's driving home, right? He's eating a glazed donut, and he gets pulled over because he was going like 41 and a 35, something like that. And just listen to this. Check this out.
So after 10 minutes go by, now I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, what is taking so long? I don't have anything in the back but just some Bibles that I pass out to homeless people. So they came out and they said, okay, we found it. The officer points to my floorboard on the driver's side and said, that's crystal methamphetamines right there. I said, that's glaze from a Krispy Kreme glazed donut I ate 2 days ago, and I haven't vacuumed the car yet. The officer said I did a drug test, and it came out positive for crystal methamphetamines. I thought it was a prank at first, and that's when they said, okay, we'll put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest.
The story almost sounded incredible, but when I investigated, I found out everything he said was true. Certainly you would think a police officer would recognize donut glaze as probably on the front of their uniform.
Oh, fastball.
This poor guy, he spent 4 hours in lockup.
My goodness.
I'm like, are you serious? I guess there was a sting operation going on. They mistook his car for somebody else. And poor guy's eating a donut, and he gets hauled off to jail. Anyway,
Glaze.
yeah, so he sued the city of Orlando, and he won $35,500. That was an expensive donut for the Orlando.
Krispy
You know
Kreme
there's-
paid off.
There's somebody out there that heard that story and is in their
Digging
down
up
in
their
carpet.
digging up their glazed donut.
I bet that cop will
Glue-
regret that
glazed
for
donut
glaze and
remains
glaze
to
and
make a few
glaze.
bucks.
Oh my goodness sakes! Hey, listen, coming up, it's almost Recovery Month. September is National
right.
Recovery Month, and coming up on September 10th, and it runs through October 9th. The Oregon Recovers is having a recovery walk for recovery. So in Medford, Oregon on September 10th, Eugene September 12th, Bend September 18th, Portland September 25th, and Klamath Falls October 9th. For more information, visit their site at Walk4, that's the number 4, OregonRecovery.org, and you find out more about Oregon Recovers, and that is an organization that we sponsor here at Take 12 Recovery Radio as well. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking to the co-founders of Exact Nature Botanicals, and some interesting story here on how this company came to be, and hopefully we're going to be able to smash some misinformation when it comes to the controversy around CBD. So don't go away, my friends. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, check it out. You can now access all of our shows from a variety of podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, Podomatic, and Player FM. Simply search for Take 12 Recovery Radio, and you'll be tuned into the best in recovery broadcast journalism. Also available at take12radio.com.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
This is Tony Morosi from the recovery band Self-Esteem, and we're listening to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show with the Monty'man on KHLT Broadcasting.
Welcome back. You've tuned into the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, the world's original and oldest recovery talk and positive music radio program, coming to you via the internet worldwide. All right, listen, Exact Nature Botanicals' entire reason for being is to provide addicts and alcoholics with safe, healthy, and effective supplements in their journey in sobriety. And the co-founders, Thomas and Daniel White. Thomas says, my greatest hope is that people will try these products as part of a comprehensive approach and commitment to getting sober. His son Daniel says, I felt tremendous freedom and clarity once I finally got control of my addiction. I was able to shake the constant anxiety running through me when I wasn't always looking for my next fix. And this father and son team is on the phone. Daniel, Thomas, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here, Monty and friends. I've been a fan of Take 12 Recovery Radio for a long time, and now we have the opportunity to speak with the legendary Monty'man. So I'm loving it.
Legendary. Okay, I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much. So which one you want to start on before this Exact Nature thing even came to be? You guys weren't doing too well, right? Who wants to start us off?
Well, I'll start off. Well, I've been in recovery now for 12 years. So Dan has, and Dan can tell you this, but he has about 4 years. So we had both found our footing in sobriety, but it wasn't long ago. And those of us in recovery know that those memories can and should remain fresh of us being active alcoholics and addicts.
Right.
In order to just keep us sober moving forward.
Well, Thomas, what brought you into the doors of recovery? Was there a certain event that happened, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, I got 2 DUIs. I have 12 years in recovery, but that number should be about 25 years. So I got over the course of a couple years before I quit, I got 2 DUIs and had to stay each time a night in jail, and that was pretty sobering. And so I knew I could see that I was slipping into darkness and becoming worse. As we know, addiction and alcoholism, these are progressive diseases. So I was progressing to that dark place.
Yeah.
I got the DUIs. That prompted me to go to rehab. So I did a little over a month in rehab. And even after a rehab for that next year, I relapsed probably 3 or 4 times. And while that might not seem like a successful rehab, what I was learning to do is string together 4 or 5 days at a time, and then a couple weeks at a time, and so on. So it really took probably the better part of a year to get it, and since then I've had this straight recovery now, or straight sobriety for 12 years.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Now, Daniel.
Thank you.
Daniel, you went down a road of addiction as well. Tell us what was going on, man.
Yeah, so, well, I guess for as long as I can remember, I've always had just a lust for life, always been seeking adrenaline, but I remember being 12 or 13, and my parents, unfortunately split up, picture perfect family, and then all gone in a matter of seconds, is really what opened the doors to my addiction and my way of abusing drugs, because I didn't know exactly how to cope with I was only 12 years old at the time, so I didn't know how to cope with any of it or whatnot. So I had to, so I just sought out ways, and it started with smoking weed, but quickly built my tolerance up with that, and then, I think it was in a matter of a year that I actually got right into pills, Xanax and painkillers, rummaging through my parents' cabinets and stuff, looking for a serious fix.
How long were you using before you hit the wall?
I'd say on and off for 5 years.
So what happened? Was there a specific event that happened to you that got you into recovery?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I lost my very best friend in this entire world to an overdose, and he was younger than me, and that opened my eyes to realize, how fragile life is, and it's crazy that it wasn't me. I'm sure there was countless times that my body was trying to push the poisons out of my body, and somehow I'm still alive and walking this planet today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today would have been that young man's birthday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So it's a notable day to remember Dan's good friend.
Yeah, I'm going over to see his family after this call, actually, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So how you doing today, Dan?
I'm down. I'm down a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a big life that was taken away from me, and it only feels like it happened last week.
Right.
So.
It happened 4 years ago.
Wow. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss, but it's not unusual that what was meant for evil ends up getting turned around for good, right?
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, every day's a blessing.
Yeah. Well, good for you. We're proud of you. We're proud of both you guys.
Thank you.
And so let's move into what is really, really a great story, and that is you both decided in your own way to become part of the solution for the recovery community, particularly when it came to health and detox and helping people to recover that are going through what we all know is an extremely difficult, painful, and inconvenient experience detoxing from narcotics, i.e. opiates. And you formed this company, Exact Nature Botanicals. How in the heck what made you even think to do this, Thomas?
Well, at the time, I was living in Reno, Nevada, and I'd been there for about 6 years. And I now live in Maine, but at the time, as I say, I was living in Reno. And while there, my next door neighbors were the Perrys, and they run a company called PNX Botanicals. And PNX was the first licensed hemp processor and CBD supplier in the state of Nevada. Now, 8 years later, they're nationally known, and considered industry leaders. But because of the Perrys, I learned a lot about CBD. And in particular, I learned about how it could help or might help in fighting addictions. So I took that introduction to CBD from the Perrys, and I did months of my own research. I had conversations with formulators and health professionals. I looked at CBD. I learned a lot about CBD as well as the other natural ingredients that we put into our products. So I became convinced that CBD can play a role in helping people in early addiction, or people that just want to drink less or do fewer drugs, those kinds of things. So we had the opportunity to get this very high quality CBD, and in order to give that CBD its best chance of working, we surrounded that CBD with very purposeful, all natural ingredients that in many cases have been used in some cases for centuries to help with these issues of curbing addictive cravings, depression, anxiety, and getting better sleep. So, and I knew that in PNX Botanicals, we had the right supplier, a company that would help us develop these premium and specially formulated products. So that is how Exact Nature was born. I then asked Dan to join me because we share this issue of addiction. And after 2 years of very intensive planning and formulating, we opened this past January. And Monty, I have to say that we have already had sales in just about every state, and I feel that we have tapped into an important need. I think, and based on it, we offer a money-back guarantee for our products, and no one has taken us up on that money-back guarantee yet. So I think our customers are enjoying some success with these products.
Nice. So you're located where, Thomas?
Well, I'm in Wells, Maine, just south of Portland, Maine.
Okay. And Daniel, you're in Utah, right?
Yes, I'm outside of Salt Lake City.
Yeah. So how are the sales of your product doing in Utah? I'm just curious.
We've had a handful of sales in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but again, we're a new company, and so I don't get it's hard to tell, but I don't feel a resistance to the products from people in Utah. Maybe among certain folks there, but I think that a topic we'll get into in a few minutes is that not everybody embraces CBD. So
sure.
I don't feel it's out of the ordinary from people in Utah. I think our sales really have been national, and I think Utah is well represented there, even in the short run operations of this company.
Right. Well, and the reason I'm asking, there's a few faith-based organizations, if you will, that are very focused on health. One of them is the Seventh-day Adventists. The other one is, I don't know, I would call these guys faith-based, but they certainly are very health conscious, and that's the Scientologists. And of course, in Utah, you have the Mormon community, which are very much against drinking any form of alcohol or even caffeine. And I was just curious if you'd found anything with any one of those communities. If there had been any controversy or any kickback. Like you said, you're new, but that still may yet to be seen, right?
It may be. Dan may know better about this than I would. Dan?
Say that again, sorry.
Do you think we'll get resistance from people in Utah to these products?
Well, I know that's just I know the population of Utah are very religious people, and they're very, I'll just say it. Yeah, they're pretty anal about what goes into their systems, and they give you a look for anything that's related to the marijuana product. Anyways, I don't know about pushback in that terms. I definitely know that Utah has a very high population of alcoholics and
makes you
drug
wonder.
users. I know because I went to rehab in Utah actually, so I know a little bit that it's a pretty big community in it. But yeah, I mean, on our back end, we've dealt out a few sales out here and stuff, and
yeah.
So I mean, I think just a little bit more time to get that idea.
See what happens. Sure. Now we know your product at Exact Nature contains no THC and like one of our promos states, so you're not going to get high, but you just might get to feeling better. And feeling better, really, I mean, what you're talking about, you have a product that focuses on detoxification. You have a product that focuses on sleep called Z's, which is a product that I've been using now. And I got to tell you, I stopped using another company's melatonin-based product and started using yours, which also has melatonin in it. But it even has less milligrams melatonin than the old product I was using. And my wife, she said, not only am I not tossing and turning at night like I was before, but my breathing has improved. And I wear a CPAP machine, right? So the more you toss and turn, the more you have to adjust the stupid machine. And so without tossing and turning, there's no adjusting, there's no weird sounds, and my breathing is better. And then of course the final outcome is I feel more rested. So there's the benefit of the Z's, and I've got to attribute it to the combination of the 14 milligrams. Was it 14 or 4 milligrams of melatonin that's in that? It's 14, right?
Which product?
The Z's
capsules.
The Z capsules.
The capsules?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
it's closer to. It's actually about 25 milligrams
of melatonin.
Oh, pardon me. I thought you were saying CBD.
No.
Yes, that's right. You were right.
Yeah.
4 milligrams.
So 4 milligrams. So it's even less than the other product I was taking, but the other product obviously didn't have the cannabinoid in it, and so it has caused major improvement. Then you have one for calmness and focus called Serenity, right? And then you have some other things like to put in your coffee. The Serenity powder tastes like lemon or lime flavored iced tea. I'm just, what you sent me impressed me so much, how my body's been reacting to it, that I went ahead and ordered another batch. So, yeah. So
Let me tell you. Let me tell you quick. Great to hear. Let me tell you a quick story about the Z's. We have a customer that wears an Aura ring, O-U-R-A, and the whole purpose of an Aura ring is to measure one's sleep. They measure how throughout the night, how long are you in light sleep, medium sleep, and then heavy REM sleep. And she says her measurements have never been better after using the Z's products. So I am not surprised by that, but it's very gratifying to see that kind of those kinds of results using this fairly scientific method of measuring sleep.
So let's talk about the controversy of this thing a little bit. And I want to introduce you to Anthony. Anthony's sitting here in studio. Now, Anthony is a member of the recovery community, a 12-step recovery community, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And Anthony, you use CBD because you had a condition. What's it called?
I have hydrocephalus.
Hydrocephalus. And explain to the listeners what that is real quickly.
It's excess CF fluid, which is cerebral spinal fluid on the brain, that builds up and builds pressure and creates pretty awful migraines and headaches and of all kinds. And I've had to have a shunt, which is a catheter, put into my brain, and it drains the fluid off now when it gets too much. So I use a CBD product to manage headaches and also for sleep.
And for sleep.
Yeah, wonderful.
And you've gotten some kickback from people in the recovery community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do they say to you?
Well, that's not sobriety.
That's not sobriety. Wow.
They tell you that the CBD product is breaking sobriety.
Yep.
They don't understand what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, and Dave's saying that Dave, our CDC level 2 drug and alcohol counselor, is with us today too, and you're saying they say that because.
Well, I think there's a good portion of the people that don't understand. They just automatically think you're getting high.
They're making an assumption.
Yep.
Consent prior to investigation.
So here's one of the things. Is one of the tinctures. I think I saw on your guys' website that you guys have a tincture, correct?
Correct. We have
Okay.
three,
So
yes.
one of the tinctures that I take, it has a very minute amount of THC in it. And
CBD by law can have no more than 0.3%.
That's exactly
Or
what
THC.
Yeah, that's exactly what it has in it. And because of that, and because I clarified in a meeting and I was completely honest, which that's what I feel is my job to do in a meeting, I said, yes, I take CBD and THC products. And since then, well, it only happened in one meeting because I kind of said, well, you know what? That's my program.
It's your recovery.
Work your own.
Right.
And so after that though, I got to questioning myself. Am I sober? Am I dependent on these medications? So I didn't take it for like almost a month.
Really?
And the people around me were like, dude, are you sleeping? I'm like, no, not really. And they're like, why? Because I'm in pain at night. And,
Yeah.
And so, and I have a dear friend who I haven't been taking it for a while now because the weather's been good and the pressure hasn't changed in my head much. And and then it did just the other day. We had a little bit of a drop in the pressure, and she goes, I'm gonna take you home. You take your med and you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I use it. And I feel like there's so much backlash of people that don't know what CBD products are, but they because there's the little green leaf on the package of most of them. They just, it's a snap judgment, and it's
a snap judgment. Yeah,
and it's ridiculous.
And so many dispensaries have CBD dispensaries right next door to them. Sometimes they're owned by the same company, sometimes they're not. Yeah. But it doesn't help break the stigma, right? Because people are going, like we've got one, Oregon CBD, right up the road here, right? And they're right next to Oregon Cannabis. And they are owned by the same company, same signage and everything. But are we throwing the baby out with the bathwater, Thomas?
Well, at Exact Nature, we see as one of our priorities is demystifying and destigmatizing CBD. Because there are a lot of misunderstandings about it. So just quickly, so you have the cannabis plant, and that cannabis, you have cousins within that cannabis family. On one side is marijuana, which is high in THC, low in CBD. On the other side is hemp, which is very high in CBD, very low in THC. So our products are all hemp derived. So we start there, and I hear it from time to time. People are really the same. We run into the same kinds of feedback, blowback that Anthony has felt. When I got sober 12 years ago, I white knuckled it, as so many others did, and sometimes people that got sober that way think that anything other than that white knuckle approach is using a crutch. And I of course don't see it like that way. I think that anybody that uses CBD to curb addictive cravings, it has to be part of a multi-pronged approach to getting sober, and it should be, NA meetings, AA meetings, and perhaps therapy, and listening to podcasts like Take 12, those kinds of things. So it has to be a very broad approach to getting sober, but my view is that any road that leads to sobriety is a good one, because if you're not going to get there are no hallucinogenics. You don't take CBD and feel a high. You don't. You might feel better, but you won't feel a high, and that is immeasurably better than doing opioids or drinking to excess or some of these other things. So I differ on this, because I think it can be a very useful tool as part of a tool in a toolbox. And all of the people that buy our products, I can tell by the products that they buy, are trying to stop abusing drugs and alcohol. Are they full-blown addicts and alcoholics? I can't say. I don't know. In some cases, yes. In other cases, I would suspect no. But they have recognized a need in their own lives to reduce their intake of drugs and recreational drugs and alcohol. So I respect the opinion of people that are sober, and even if they don't agree with CBD, I respect that, but I don't agree with it. I just think that these products can help, and they're all natural, without THC. They're non-intoxicating. So I think that if you can if this can provide a stepping stone to a sober life, then it will have performed an important function.
Our guest this week is Thomas and Daniel White. They are the co-founders and owners of Exact Nature. Their sole focus is providing THC-free CBD-based products to help recovering addicts and alcoholics face the addictive cravings and changes in mood and sleep patterns that come in sobriety. Interestingly enough, their name, Exact Nature. Tell us about how you came about with this name.
Well, you as being a 12-step guy, you'll know this, that the fifth step says that admitted to ourselves, to God, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. It's the confession step. Yeah. So when I was thinking about what do we name this, I wanted to have relevance to addiction recovery and to sobriety, and that is the reason we decided on Exact Nature as our name. It's directly relevant to the 12 steps of AA.
So you know in those commercials, you know where the guy says, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'm the owner of Hair Club for Men, and I'm also a customer."
Right.
Do you guys, Daniel, let me ask you, do you use your product on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm in love with the Z's tincture. Some nights I'm a pretty restless person, and I know I have really bad anxiety, and it only got worse after I stopped drugging and stuff. But yeah, the tincture for Z's helps me decompress before I sleep, clear my mind up. It's just for me it's just perfect because I know I have a high anxiety, so sometimes I'm up with my mind racing, and it just helps so much with calming me down and prepping me for some really good sleep. And then I race motocross. That's my success in life, is me and my dirt bike.
Nice.
And so I'll take Boost in the mornings, help me wake the system up, and feel good for the day. So yeah, I am an advocate, and I do use the products daily. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring them down to Connecticut, which is stupid of me, but yeah, but no, I do, and I'm a full believer of the products. Not only experiencing them do the job that we intended them to do, but just to have that tool in our toolbox for my recovery, personally.
Thomas, do you use a specific product more than another?
I do. In fact, I use it all I use it all day long because you can really, I think it can help therapeutically in a number of ways. So I take Boost in the morning. But Monty, what really helps me is that when I got sober, and now 12 years into this, my addictive cravings have largely subsided. But as my active addiction moved out, depression moved in for me. So I managed my depression for many years using prescription medicine, and they worked until they didn't. They stopped working, and then I tried this and that, and I never quite found anything that worked again. So I just stopped using any prescription meds for depression. But what I did instead, I use Exact Nature Serenity, and I have had great success with the Serenity. It works every bit as well as the prescription meds worked, and that means by and large it works very well on really high stress days, or if there are days that I have just a lot going on in my brain. It might, it doesn't make you comatose. You're still fully functional, but you might feel a little bit of that depression. But I think that I will take that small amount of bad with the good that I feel from these products, really day in, day out for the most part. So it has helped a lot. And I'm a big guy. So as well as being a big guy, I lived for years in active addiction, so my tolerance level is very high. I tend to need slightly higher doses of things, and for these I just take the normal dose, and it works. By and large it works very well, but there are times where just given what's going on with me in that particular day, I might just still feel a little bit of that depression, but for the most part, I don't feel it at all day to day.
Denver.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for these guys, or any remarks?
I'm uninformed on it. My side of the family smokes weed for the high end of it.
Sure.
Yes,
So
they do.
I'm like I said, I'm uninformed on this, but the promise of a good night's sleep would be wonderful. I tell you, I'm restless, and I'm going to look into it most certainly. So,
yeah. The way CBD works too is that CBD binds to and balances the system of neurotransmitters throughout our brain and throughout our body called the endocannabinoid system. So by returning the endocannabinoid system to this balance, it helps your body return to equilibrium, and that helps stabilize these important bodily functions like sleep and mood and addictive cravings. For us addicts, our brain circuitry gets out of whack, so CBD can help get that circuitry back in alignment. It can help break the psychological bridge that rewards our addictive behaviors. It does this by helping minimize drug use, and in turn then reduces our drug-seeking behaviors. So, as I say, it can be an important part of a broad approach to getting sober. But that's generally how CBD works.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research out there, and I think that you or anyone else that wants to know more, just search the endocannabinoid system, where you can probably get to it just by searching ECS.
ECS. All right.
Dave Fleming.
Endocannabinoid system.
Yes, sir.
Dave, as a certified alcohol and drug counselor, what's been your experience, or is this still pretty new in your realm?
Well, I'll tell you, I was laid off for a period in 2020, so last year, and I have a lot of pain issues. I have a bad disc and bulging disc, and I had just years of injuries doing construction work, and so I actually spent some time doing research, CBD because I was looking at trying to manage the pain without using the opiates or taking a handful of ibuprofen, which the NSAIDs aren't good for you.
Right.
I got kidney issues, and so it just makes that worse. So I was looking at something that's natural. I try not to put more drugs in than I have to.
Because you needed to address the inflammation,
but
right?
I gotta address the inflammation, and so I did some research on it and looked at like the different levels, different types of CBD, and I my memory isn't all that great to recall all the details, but I've used CBD and it helped me out. I mean, there's a couple different ones that I use like during the day to manage pain, and then there was another one that I would use in the evening to help with sleep. And then I went out, because there's that, part of my brain goes, well, I want to make sure, even though, they send documentation with, the test and levels and everything in it. But I went out and bought a drug test from Walmart, just to check it because I want to make sure,
Yeah.
And nothing.
You didn't
shows
detect,
up.
right? It didn't detect, yeah.
That gave me that peace of mind, and it's
sure.
I mean, and it's it's easy to get, and there's a lot of different products out there, so you got to be careful because I don't know. I mean, I commend you guys for what you're doing, and I was just while I was listening to you guys talk, I was checking out the website, and I love what you're doing, and the fact that even you got resources on there, and it has links to different recovery programs and meetings and things like that, and I think that's a huge thing. We need to reduce the stigma on that too.
Amen.
I mean, NA, it's probably been 10 years now, but NA actually came out with a book called "In Times of Illness."
Oh yeah,
and it addresses medication and all this other stuff.
Right.
And
it's a good pamphlet.
It's hardly it's a book like this.
Yeah, it's a booklet.
And I encourage people to read that are in recovery, and don't let people like discourage you from taking care of yourself, because we have every right to be pain free, and as long as we're not abusing it, we're doing it for the right reasons. And if we have to have someone manage our medications, that's one thing. But I think CBD has gotten a bad rap. It's starting to it's starting to change. People are starting to change the way they view it. There's more and more products, but then at the same time, you got to be careful that some of those products are not even legit.
You got snake oil salesmen out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I found that.
I always wonder what if CBD was the thing instead of THC first. Like if it was reversed, like the FDA kept questioning THC, but CBD, like I just wonder what would happen if the introduction to this plant was vice versa.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Dave brings up a lot of very good points. First of all, it's just for pain management. So I take CBD, Serenity, primarily for, as I discussed earlier, depression. But I share with my son Dan this passive kind of adrenaline seeking. I have been an avid mountain biker for 25 years, and with that I've broken my hip, I've crushed my shoulder, I have a replaced hip and a replaced shoulder as a result of mountain biking accidents, and so I have a certain amount of pain from day to day, just that lingers from those. And so the Serenity also, I take it really also to help with that pain. So and I can really feel the difference because I take that, and if I'm I'm out on a hike or on a bike ride now, I just, let's say, I feel kind of normal, but on those days where I don't take it, I quickly remind myself that I had forgotten to take it. And another thing about it is our products, and you should look for this if you buy CBD, all our products are third-party tested. We provide something called a certificate of analysis, and that will show you the lab results of the tests of those products. And so if someone doesn't, I'm glad that's interesting, Dave, that you went and you did the drug testing and you came up negative, and I'm thankful for that. And you will, but sometimes CBD providers, not all CBD is created equally. So in some cases, CBD providers can exceed that 0.3% of THC, and there are various ways that can happen. But what should happen is that should be that they should be alerted to that in their third-party testing if they're doing that, and know that they need to not use that high THC concentration CBD. But as I say, we take all of it out. The lawyers would say you can't say all of it, but ours are not registering, so it has less than 0.001%. So that's a thousandth of a percent. So
that's like when you have a cleaner and it says it kills 99.9% of all germs. They can't say 100%. They're going to get in trouble.
Right. Good analogy.
Yeah. So is there any? Let me ask you: is there any truth to the idea that if you look at the ingredients, let's say a CBD product, and CBD is the last ingredient listed, that means that it has the least amount of anything else that's in it? Is there any truth to that?
Yes. The one of the things that we strive, that's certainly at Exact Nature to get perfect, and it's no small challenge, is our supplement facts panel on the sides of our bottles. Mm-hmm. So the FDA says that when you list the ingredients, you need to do it from most to least. So CBD should be listed first on the supplement facts panel. If it's not, it means it has these other things in greater amounts than the CBD, and that's not what you want. Even our products, we take the CBD and we wrap it around with these other natural ingredients because we think that they can help with these specific issues. But CBD is, and the amount of CBD is really what's key to the performance of these products.
So, listeners, the website is exactnature.com. And if you're a 12-stepper, you'll remember that because of step 5, Exact Nature. Exactnature.com. And also, if you go to take12radio.com and click on the banner for Exact Nature as well, because we are proud to bring Exact Nature on as one of Take 12 Recovery Radio's sponsors. We're excited about our relationship with you guys. And we just want to say, job well done, my friends.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Monty, can I add to that?
Absolutely.
That if your listeners, if they put Take 12 in the discount, when prompted for a discount when ordering products, they will get a 20% discount for the Take 12 audience. So it's a nod to the importance of your audience, certainly, and just how much I value this, or how much we value this partnership that we've struck on here.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Now, if they type in Take 12, does it have to be the number 12, or can it be the word also?
It needs to be the number 12.
The number, okay.
Yes, Take 12.
Take 12. Yeah, good deal. So don't.
And my email's on that website, and if for some reason you have anyone trying to order this and they don't get that discount, then they just should send me an email, and I'll make sure that it's applied to the order. And I get those. It doesn't happen often, but for one reason or another, the discount code doesn't get put in there, and people have come to me afterwards and say, hey, I didn't get the discount, and I usually within minutes will apply that discount amount to their order.
Yeah, and something else that's really cool too is if you ever lose our website, go to Exact Nature, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see Take 12 Radio's link there. Click on that, and you can listen to the show. Yeah. That's awesome. Along with, there's a couple other recovery podcasts on there too. So good job, you guys. Any last thoughts or words? Daniel, you first.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do this sponsor and allow us to talk with you and all the guys, and it's been great. And hopefully we can touch back up in a couple months and see how everything is going, or just go out for a good old talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas?
Well, I would just end by saying that, as you know, I'm an evangelist for CBD. I think it just makes life better. So I would want to make your listeners be open to CBD, because really what I'm trying to do is make people a believer in CBD. I think that in a matter of 10, 15 years, it's going to be as common as aspirin. And so that when somebody buys an Exact Nature product, I feel it's a tangible sign that they want to change. And so our products can offer a stepping stone to a better life. And again, as long as it's part of a comprehensive approach to getting sober, but CBD is good stuff.
Yeah. So it comes, you have CBD oil, you have CBD powder, and you have CBD in capsules. True?
True.
Yeah, good deal.
That's right. And three product types: Detox, which is designed to help with addictive cravings; Serenity, which is designed to help bring calm and focus, especially for those suffering from depression and anxiety; and as we've discussed, Z's is to help with better sleep. And then we offer a fourth product, Boost, and that's just to get more CBD into your system as a coffee, in the form of a coffee additive.
Yeah, and we had talked about it before. The caffeine and the CBD don't counteract. They don't mess with each other. You can't even tell you put anything in your coffee, listeners. You can't even tell it's there. I put it in my coffee every morning, so that's what makes me so happy and cheerful.
And whiny.
Yes, whining about my donuts.
Daily one.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You guys, our guests have been Thomas and Daniel White, the co-founders of Exact Nature Botanicals. Visit their website at exactnature.com. Don't forget to use the discount code TAKE12 when you order for 20% off, not just your first order, but any order.
That's right.
That's really cool.
Products.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Hang on to the phone, guys, just for a few minutes. We have a closing song. This is by recovery recording artist Mr. Richie Supa. It's entitled Last House on the Block. Here's Richie.
Well, I picked up some bad habits, and they kept me running hard. I went against my better judgment. I even turned my back on God. On the streets I met my demons, and they dragged me down the drain with another shot of something, just to get me past the pain. Yeah, the door is always open when the devil needs a fix. So you burn another 50 you ain't got, and you drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. You're in so deep, there's no way you can stop. Welcome, yeah, welcome to the last house on the block. He put another nail in his coffin in some roach-infested room where he thought he found the answers with a needle and a spoon. Yeah, the door is always open when the devil needs a fix. So you shove another 50 through the slot, and you drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. In a junkie's world, it's all you really got. Welcome, yeah, welcome to the last house on the block. And it's hell disguised as heaven, where the angels fear to go. It's a place all too familiar, where I sold out my soul. And that's how I know the door is always open when the devil needs a fix. So you burn another 50 you ain't got, and you drift into the darkness till your dreams have all been crushed. You're in so deep, no way you can stop. Welcome, yeah, welcome to the last house on the block.
The recovery sounds of Mr. Richie Supa. For more of Richie's music and information about what he's doing in the recovery community, just type in Richie Supa Music in your web browser, and there you go. All right, a very special thank you to our guests this week, the co-founders of Exact Nature Botanicals, Thomas and Daniel White. Don't forget to visit their website at exactnature.com or click on the banner on our website at take12radio.com. It'll take you to their site. Remember to use the discount code TAKE12 whenever you're making an order, and you'll get 20% off of the products that you purchase. All right, we really appreciate both of them coming on the show and sharing their experience, strength, and hope. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty'man along with the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for you.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
This is the place.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow, meow, meow.
Woof, woof.
My only drug is Krispy Kreme glazed donuts.